Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha Vasudeva sutam devam Kansa chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. So in the last class, we were studying the 46th and the 47th sloka of the second chapter of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. And we started studying the 47th sloka, where we find that Bhagavan Sri Krishna is speaking of the modus operandi, the way of Karma Yoga. What is the gist of the Karma Yoga has been spoken of in the 47th sloka of the second chapter. So what he's saying? Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturubhu ma te sangostva karmani. So first let us try to understand the literal meaning of it. Karmani eva adhikara te. So you have the right, you are entitled for work alone, but not for the fruits. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You are not in any way entitled for the fruits of action. Even if you are hankering, know it for certain, the plan of the universe is such, it's not we who really enjoy the fruit. We will try to understand that as we go to the discussion. So as we are not entitled to enjoy the fruits of action, so what's the way of then action? How should we act then? Ma karma phala hetur bhu. So don't be attached. So neither your motive should be for the fruit of action. Don't be, as you can never enjoy the fruits of action as such. You will be eternally dissatisfied. If you think that I have to enjoy the results of the fruit of action, you will be in an hedonistic treadmill, eternally dissatisfied. You can never be satisfied. The plan of the nature is such. You can never. So as such is the condition, then what's the use of seeking the fruit of action? So the next question will be, okay, that if the action doesn't give me the enjoyment, the fruit I cannot enjoy, so you are saying that don't seek for the fruit of action. But my question is, why should I act at all? If I have no result for the action, then why should I act at all? So there again, Bhagavan is saying, no, you have to act without detachment, without attachment, with detachment. Sanga stu akarmani. So don't get attached to inaction. So because most of the time in our life, we will find that in the name of renouncing our action, I feel that the actions are tormenting me, disturbing me, and I feel that a renunciation has grown within me, I will renounce. But actually, previously, I was seeking the result of the action, and now I am seeking the comfort zone, nothing else. It is still seeking. The action, the results which I thought will be accrued, which I thought is ensured because of my action. When I don't get them, I get the kickback from the society, from the nature. And then I think, okay, let me recoil. And I think that it is a proper type of renunciation. But most of the time we will find that it is actually seeking the comfort zone, security zone, being unable to get the results which I thought I will get. Then what's the way out? You have to go through the actions, but in a detached way. So this is the idea. So now let us try to understand that why in no way we can really enjoy the fruits of our action. So in our scripture, the last class, we just introduced this idea that we are neither the karta nor the bhokta. The sense that I am the doer is a delusion that we will not take up today. In some other context, we will take up. The idea that we are the karta, the doer, is a delusion. The idea that I'm the bhokta, I'm the enjoyer, that also is a delusion. You will understand very quickly that how nature is fooling us. We never enjoy the result of action. So that's why the first satya, Arya Satya, which Buddha spoke of, is dukkha. That there is dukkha. We always translate the word dukkha wrongly by saying it is suffering. Dukkha doesn't mean suffering. Dukkha means dissatisfaction. There is a difference between suffering and dissatisfaction. You may feel that both are same, but both are not same. What is the difference between suffering and dissatisfaction? With an example, we will try to understand. Suppose you are relishing a dish which you like most. If I come and ask you, are you suffering? You will say, of course not. I'm enjoying. Now, if I ask, are you satisfied? Immediately you will feel that when I ask you, are you satisfied? You will find already the craving for the second serve has developed in you. So you are waiting for the second. So though you are not suffering, but you are not satisfied. So when we translate dukkha as suffering, it's a wrong translation. It's not suffering. We do enjoy that moment, we are enjoying, but we are not satisfied. Dissatisfaction is the rule of life. We are never satisfied. Why it happens? That we are never satisfied. We just are in a hedonistic treadmill. When you go to the gym, you are on a treadmill. What are you doing? You are running. But where are you running? In the same place. So neither ever running, never reaching. That's in one of the Swami Vivekananda's poem. That's the line. Not a distant glimpse of shore. That's the hedonistic treadmill. We go on craving. One craving is over, another craving comes. We think most probably after fulfilling this, I will be satisfied. Again, another comes. Why it happens? So in our scripture, now let us gradually enter into the idea, the synthesis of bhoga. Let us try to synthesize that what's the nature of enjoyment. That in nature we will find, in our life we will find the ashana, the desire. There are three types of desire. All the desires at last can be boiled down to three types of desire, which the Vedanta has spoken of ages back. And you may try your best, you won't find any other ashana. All ashanas, there are so many ashanas, but all these desires can at last be boiled down to three. What are they? Putraishana, Vittaishana, Yashaishana. Desire for progeny, desire for wealth, desire for name and fame. You try to now find out all your desires, you will find somewhere or other you can fill up with this. Fit in this. That if you say, I like some food, where is it? Yes, you have to have wealth to have food. Progeny, wealth, your wealth and name and fame. Yashaishana. Now, very interesting. All the three ashanas again can be boiled down to one. That is Putraishana. And then what about Yashaishana and Vittaishana? Well, to have progeny, of course, I have to sustain myself. I have to have food. I have to sustain myself. Then only I can think of progeny. So very easily, Vittaishana can be understood. And Yashaishana, if you look at the animal kingdom, it's very palpably visible. The male lion has its own territory. It won't allow any other male lion to enter there. Why? The more it can show its yasha, the power, the more it has the scope to transmit its genes. The same thing is in the human life also. All our education, all our, at last, the endeavor to get established in life, at last to have a match, and then have progeny. So if you find, in a very simple way, we are trying to understand that all is linked to that Putra Ishara, what it speaks of. Why progeny? Because here nature is working the trick. Nature has to sustain itself. The Prakriti has to sustain itself, which is that nature is not something apart from the Lord. The Lord wills. It is the will of the Lord that then through nature, the creation should go on propagating. Nature is not a villain. It's a particular aspect of the Lord. That's why we say that he has kept us in moha, delusion. Because of the delusion that Prakriti is there and it has to sustain itself. And for that, whatever may be the life form, progeny is a must. Now let us go that all the ashanas at last we find boils down to progeny. Now we will find out this, try to find out the nature of happiness. Are we really enjoying? Now, what's the nature of happiness? We will find that anything which we are desiring, any creature when desires something, when the desire is fulfilled, in the present modern biological language, they say there's an exhilaration because of the profuse secretion of dopamine, a hormone. And you find exaltation, that happiness speaks of the dopamine. That's the chemistry. But it doesn't stay. The dopamine secretion, the moment your desire is fulfilled, it will be secreted, and the next moment it is evaporated. It's no more there. Any single desire you find it's there, it's not there. Why it happens? Because if you go into ecstasy forever, you won't pursue again. So the evaporation must be there. The nature has planned it in a way that the evaporation must be there. Not only that, in the process of getting the object which I desire, there were so many positive aspects, that enjoyment, and there were so many hardships. You will find the past is always golden. You know why? The nature has planned in that way. In that way, what it has planned, it makes us forget all the negativities, the hardships. That's why when you say my childhood, no one says my childhood was a very suffering. If it's a normal childhood, yes, it was full of enjoyment. My life was really golden when I was a child. But is it really golden? If I really try to find out, I will find I do have my hardships. But the mind's always, when the nature works in that way, it always makes us forget, when we look at the past, the negativities, the hardships, only the positive thing that will be manifesting is all golden. Why in the nature does? Because all the hardship which we have gone through, we won't again feel like going through it if we always remember the hardship, if we remember the evaporation. So the nature makes our memory selective. It will only keep those golden things in our mind prominently. And we always remember the climax of it. We forget that there is an evaporation. That will be forcing you for again and again going for this desires. But have you ever, whether it is food, whether it is anything, that the enjoyment which I get, it stays, it's very short time, immediately it evaporates. So the first thing is there is an peak. And the second thing is it immediately evaporates. The third point, we always remember the peak, we forget the evaporation. We always remember the positive aspects of our happiness, the negative things, the hardships we forget. This is the third. Fourth is again more interesting. In your life, you try to find out, whenever you plan, maybe some excursion, or today night, I will have a family dinner outside. Throughout the day, you're excited. But when you are sitting in that restaurant, in the dining table, you find it's flat. All that's so much, that is the time you should supposed to have. You're supposed to have maximum joy. But for life, we will find all our happiness is in anticipation. But when you're enjoying, the happiness is gone. Why it has happened again? Again, the nature is playing trick. When you are anticipating that I will do, the nature immediately starts giving you that sense of ecstasy, because that will give you the motivation. Now, when you are already in the act, nature has already done his work. His work is over. You're already in the act. So there is no need to give you happiness. So happiness is just like a lollipop which nature uses to make us do something by which it is sustained. You just in spiritual life doesn't speak of, doesn't need very, what you say, that a analytical, very strong analytical understanding. With the common sense, you can understand. Can anyone deny this, all this, the 4 steps which we told of? That whenever you get the happiness, you go to the ecstasy. The moment the happiness, that the next moment it evaporates, it's no more there. The third thing, you always remember the ecstasy, you forget the evaporation. Fifth is anticipation gives you more happiness. So these all speaks that happiness is not something which is going to be permanent with me. The nature has devised happiness, the so-called happiness which we get from the sunset world, in such a way that it is using a lollipop, something to lure me, but it is not ever ready to give it to me. It advertises a lot, but it gives nothing. Swami Vivekananda used to give a very nice example that in the olden days, when the bullock used to grind the oil. So how it will grind the oil? So there are 2 stones. One stone is revolving over the other, and the oil seeds are kept between the 2 stones. In the process of revolving, in the process of rotation, the oil seeds which are between the 2 stones gets crushed, and the oil is, that's how excreted. The oil is extracted, that's how. So the question now, how to make that a bull go round and round, this bullock go around and round, so that the rock goes on, the stone goes on rotating, so that the top stone will be tied to the bullock. Now, it's very difficult for a person to go on chasing the bullock to go round and round. So what they used to do, they devised a nice plan. They used to tie one bamboo stick between the 2 horns in front of the bullock, and they will hang some straw in front of it. And the bullock is constantly chasing to get the straw. It is revolving. The stick is also moving. The straw is also moving, and it goes round and round. Now think, is our condition anything better? We are also the same. The nature has made us, all the straw is or your putraishana, vittaishana, yashaishana, nothing else. They are the straw hanging. You never get it. It's this eternal chase. So now you will understand why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan is saying, Ma phaleshu kadachana. So this search for the fruits of the action, to enjoy the fruits of the action, know it for certain, it's never there. Calmly sit and just think that the thing which just now we discussed, any pleasure of life, does it defy this equation, these 4 strategies which we spoke of? You will all fall under this. And that's why we are in eternal dissatisfaction. So if there's a thing, then first thing, as the common sense says, there's this desire for the results of action. I will never get. Why to desire for it? So that's why maaf karma phala hetur bhu, that I understand. But the next question comes, if my actions doesn't entail in really enjoying the result, why should I act at all? So now here, another idea will come. That this idea, here comes the idea of karma yoga. Swami Vivekananda, this entire sloka can be translated in the words of Swami Vivekananda in one phrase. He used to, in his lectures, this phrase we find again and again. Neither seek nor avoid. Means in life you shouldn't be too ambitious. Go on seeking. I want this, I want that. And at the same time, do not avoid. What all situation in life you are, the responsibilities, the roles and responsibilities which you have to go through. Don't avoid that. Why? Because of ignorance. Yes, with the common sense, I understand that the nature is fooling me. But I have been fooled for ages together. I don't know how many generations, how many lives I have been fooled because of this ignorance. I was chasing after the desires with the idea that I'm going to fulfill. Never realized that the nature is playing trick on me. Never realized. The moment you realize, now you cannot stop the action immediately because of the past impulse. Just say anything. In nature, we see everything has an inertia. When a fan is revolving, you switch off the fan. Does it stop immediately? No, it will go on revolving for some time. So what we have to do, we have to switch off and wait for some time, isn't it? And the fan will go on revolving till the past momentum is over, and then it stops. So switching off is the switching off of the desire. Because of my past momentum, I am placed in a particular situation of life with particular roles and responsibilities. That is my swadharma. In Bhagavad Gita, the idea of swadharma will come in the later chapter. That in the position in which you are born, all the responsibilities in which you are at present, that speaks of swadharma, your dharma. There you are because of the past impulse. Now I have understood that this, after all, is not going to give me any satisfaction. But I cannot stop this immediately. It has its past momentum. Just the way he's a fool who will try to stop the fan holding the blade. He will injure himself. So you cannot just immediately, abruptly stop your action. It has to go on. But how to stop it? Switch off. That the connection is the desire. The force behind the action is the desire. Try to get rid of that. Sangha, that astu akarmi, don't resort to inaction. That will be extremely damaging. Let the impulse, past impulse, which has resulted in the action, that go on. And know it for certain that the entire nature is not the villain. It is the God who himself has actually to maintain his creation, has deluded us. When I understand that, I have a submissive attitude, not as that I have to challenge the nature. That praying to God, that God, for certain purpose, you have kept me in this delusion, and that delusion resulted in these actions and responsibilities. I take care of them. But I know it is the desire for the results that is the cause of all the dissatisfaction. That is the cause of all my revolving in this cycle of avidya kama karma. Shankaracharya again and again uses this chakra, uses this context in which he speaks of these three things forming a cycle: avidya, kama, karma. Ignorance resulting in desire, that we have already understood how ignorance results in desire, and that desire results in action. So this karma has to be reduced. Then once the avidya, once you have understood the nature of the working, and this karma will gradually fall off. That's the process of chitta shuddhi. You allow and then how to work? The detachment, the best way of detachment. After all, it is not me who am doing. It is not me who am enjoying. It is not me who am doing. This also, in this context, we will find that we are not the karta. It is good to understand that we are not the karta. Am I the karta? You will be very interested even in the modern neurology, the modern psychology. This study has gone to such an extent where they also have started saying we are not the doer. It's good to understand this because let me just relate to you the experiments. There's an experiment called split brain experiment. You know, because of some physical complications, some persons will have this split of the left and the right hemisphere of their brain. Now, very interesting. For most of us, there is a crisscross, there is connection. But if this connection is somehow segregated, then what happens? Generally, they will work as a normal person. But there are situations where you will find that they are behaving in a bit queer way, abnormal way. The experiment goes like this. a person with a split brain is made to sit on a chair in such a way that he cannot move his head. His head is also fixed. Now, on the left side, there will be some signage which he can see. Means as his head cannot move, even if he's turning his eyes, only with the left eye he can see, not with the right eye. There is that barricade in between, so he cannot turn his head, and that barricade doesn't allow the right eye to see what's there. Only with the left eye he can see the signage. And the signage says, get up and move. That person stands up and starts moving. Now someone who was observing asks, why you got up? Why are you moving? He immediately replies, oh, I'm a bit thirsty. There was a refrigerator, a fridge just in front. He told, I just want to have a glass of cold water. The man was really surprised. Who was conducting experiment. He knows very well it is a signage which he saw that stand up and move. But he is like a hypocrite, like a liar. He's saying, I'm thirsty, I want to drink water. Now it's very interesting. Why this experiment was done? Now those who have split brain, there is the instruction which goes in the right brain is not transmitted in the left brain. Now right hemisphere of our brain is photogenic. Whatever it sees, immediately it's just as a copy, as a Xerox. It just copies it. It's photogenic memory. It relates exactly the thing which has happened. But the left brain is the language brain. That what you see is being processed in the right brain, it goes to the left brain, and then the language brain speaks. Now for this person, as there is a split, what was registered in the right brain, because you know that in our brain there is a crisscross. What I see with my left eye is registered in the right brain. What I see with my right eye is registered in the left brain. What I do with my right hand is registered in the left brain. So this brain, there is a crisscross. So now with the left eye, he saw the signage. It was registered in the right brain, but it was not transmitted to the left brain because of the split. So what the right brain saw, immediately it responded by walking. But as it never went to the left brain, the language brain, it immediately made up a story. And very interesting, the left brain, when it makes up a story, it even makes you believe. It's not only you're trying to make others believe and that I don't know why I'm walking. But if I just say I don't know, people will think that I'm mad. Without reason, I'm just going. So that's why let me make up a story. It doesn't happen that way. It's not consciously. The brain is, this left brain is a propaganda machine. It will create a language which will make you believe that it's true. And it will try to make others also believe that it's true. So the experiments, such experiments have been, compiled in one book. The name of the book is Why Everyone Else is a Hypocrite. Because I am seeing, I can see that he has seen the signage, but he's speaking something. But that person doesn't know he's a hypocrite. He thinks I am sincere. In this world, there is no villain. There is no hero. The villain thinks he is the hero. Because when we get angry, when we, have tremendous desire, there is no need for surgical split up. The natural split up happens. And then our language brain becomes very strong. You will find it whenever there is a fight between two political parties. You go and take the interview, both say I'm correct. And it's not they're making up story. They really believe they're correct. If you go to any book which has been co-authored, there are 2 or 3 authors. Now, if you go and ask, it is good, we have understood that it is co-authored. Now, if you go and ask individually each of the author, that what's your contribution? What is the percentage of your contribution? 20%, 30%? So whatever percentage they say, now you add up, it will be more than 100% always. That's the way. If you have anyone has met a car accident as in the hospital, You ask him that how good is your driving? They will always scale very high. What it speaks of, it's in the modern language of psychology, it is a factor called benefactance, that we are all beneficial and effective. We have to prove it to the world. That's how our brain is made. And that's how we are fooling ourselves and trying to fool the world. Whenever there is a fight between the fans of the match going on, both the sides say we are correct. So what is happening? The left brain is constantly full. It is making me believe, the propaganda is making me believe that what I am saying is correct. So then who is doing? If I am not really deciding, so here you find that he stood up and started walking. So decision was actually made in the brain irrespective of his conscious decision. He never took the decision, I will walk, go to the fridge and take water. He never took the decision. So he's not the doer. Something is happening in the brain and that is making you do. Then who is the doer? The next question comes, who is the doer? See, the modern psychology, very interesting. In Yoga Sutra, sometimes we don't understand the language. We translate Nirmana Chitta in so many ways, all supernatural things. We say that yogis develop many bodies. Actually, it's all rubbish. If we read the Yoga Sutra properly, with sutra means connection. If you connect the sutras, the real meaning will be revealed. In the present psychology, the idea of mental modules has been spoken of in the Yoga Sutra thousands of years back, and they have called it as Nirmana Chitta, construed minds. In the entire process of evolution, there is not only one mind. We have made innumerable minds, each mind with a particular stimuli response conditioning. How it develops, you will understand. Take a small microbe. If you put a nutrient in the petri dish where the microbe is there, it will go towards it. So immediately a mental module is formed. Anything nourishing, go towards it. If I put a toxin, it will go away from it. Anything poisonous, go away. So what is that? That nourishment module, life-sustaining module, and another is this threatening, this to fight and flight response module. So in the microbe, it has started growing. In the entire process of evolution, so many innumerable such modules we have constituted nirmana, we have created. Collectively as a humankind, as the entire creation is concerned, these mental modules are there. Our mind has innumerable such mental modules. Who takes the decision? As per a particular circumstance. It's not you. As per the circumstance, a particular module will be activated. And it has its fixed stimuli response conditioning. It has its fixed. It will take its decision and will make you believe that you have taken the decision. The entire world of advertisement runs on this. Entire world of advertisement. Just give a common example. Suppose the new model car. You always find a very beautiful lady standing just beside it. The car, what does the lady has to do with the car? Nothing. The advertisement is just to activate a particular module to make you take a decision. And you will think, I have taken the decision. So what we are just try to understand, there's a very nice experiment that you are not the doer also, that it is Lord through his nature who is making you do as per all the mental modules which you have collected. That now speaks of your Swadharma, and these modules will be activated, making you feel you are the doer. You're not the doer. It is the Lord who is doing. He is holding the strings. An experiment, very nice experiment, that in a university there was some short course in which the students were allowed to come with their family. They're all grown-up students. They're just a short course. Actually, their intention was not the course. Intention was to conduct some experiment on those students. The course was there. Many enrolled. They came with their family. And as a part of that course, it's actually of the Stanford University, very famous experiment. A part of the course, there was an excursion that they have to go somewhere. And the excursion was planned in such a way that they will go by train, and in the evening, they will have to halt in some small village town. And then the next day morning, again from there, they will start and go to the destination. So when they get down in the village town, all these students along with their family, they got to get down. Now for the night, they have to stay in the hotel. Now the entire experiment was planned in such a way that immediately they need not be taken to the hotel. Because it's a village town, it doesn't have many hotels. But the number of students are more than the rooms available in the hotel. So what they did, first they took them to some movie complex where two movies were going on. That was also planned. One was a horror movie and another was a family adventure movie. So now they were asked to choose whatever. Some went for the horror movie, some went for the family adventure movie. After the movie, now they kept this choice. There are two choices. This is a small village town. You can stay in the heart of the town where some restaurants are there. And some restaurants are in the remote area. There's forest, it's remote area. This is the area, some guest houses there. So now you choose, it's up to your choice. We are not allocating to you. And as they thought, it was interesting. Those who went for the horror movie, they all chose in the center of the city. And those who went for the family adventure, they all went for the remote places. Why? In the process of evolution, you will find that when the predator is attacking the herd, the prey, the herd always wants to be together. Because if one gets singled out, he is noticed by the predator, he becomes the easy focus of the predator. In the herd, you may not be noticed, but once you get singled out, you are noticed. Predator will leave all and simply chase you. So when we are in danger, you always want to be in the herd. But when I want to be with my family, I want to be alone. So now you will understand. They all took their decision. Some chose to stay in the center. Some chose to be the remote after watching the movie, which has already activated a particular module. The one who went for the family adventure movie, they have that I want to be in the remote place, that module, that family, this family nurturing module, or whatever you say, that got activated and they took the decision. It has its own stimuli response conditioning. It took its decision. The one who went for the horror movie, for them, the protection module got activated. They took the decision. But making you feel, I am the one who has taken the decision. So now the question, are you the doer? Really, are you the doer? Throughout your life, you will find there's innumerable examples to say that you are not the doer. The same person, when you are with your friend, you will find you are a different person. When you are with your family, you are a different person. If you somehow meet your old school days friends, you're a total different person. If you are in a club playing, you're having some game or match, you find you're with your teammates, a total different person. Automatically, it's not that you have to decide that I have to behave in such and such way. The loving father, when he's in the office, the boss, is totally different person. The politician, when he is in his field of politics, is not the same person when he's as a father at home. That's why they can be totally different character. The loving father can be a very tyrannical political person, can be. And it doesn't mean that he is doing it consciously. It just happens. But giving us the sense that I am the doer. So now you will understand, as per the mental modules and as per the situation, a particular module gets activated. It has its own stimuli response conditioning. It is fixed. It has to take that response, giving you a feeling you are the doer. So neither I am the doer, nor I am the enjoyer. So just even with the modern psychology, this actually explains the scripture in a better way. What the Vedanta says, that you are neither the karta nor bhokta, for thousands of years back they have been told. You can relate with the modern psychology how correct it is. And you will be amazing at the scriptures that how this simple statement has so much of reflection in those days. To say that you are not the karta nor the bhokta, we just memorize and repeat. But the scriptures really become remarkable, that we really try to appreciate them when we, with the present modern neurological understanding, we try to relate to them. But neither the karta nor the bhokta. Then who is the karta? The plan of the universe is such, because of ignorance, thousands of mental modules have been produced. I am born with that. This will be activated. What can I do? Instead of getting identical with them, that it is I who am doing. The moment you feel I am doing, this question of enjoying the result is bound to come. It is then to have that idea constantly. The Lord, because of my past associations, because of my past mental modules which I have construed, with that I have been born in the present situation, in a particular situation, which all these modules will take care of. But I should never forget, it is the Lord who is working through me. When the mother is loving the child, a particular module is there. It is not the mother who is loving the child. Throughout the creation, do you find a single mother not loving the child? What to speak of human? Even go to the animal kingdom. You're bound, you're programmed that way. That mental module has been construed. You are bound. If you think you are loving the child, it is you. When the child even speaks a single harsh word, you feel hurt, tremendously hurt, because you think I loving the child, I am loving the child. But if you are really aware of the fact, it is the Lord whose game is going on. He has given that love in me. He has created that mental module in such a way that I'm bound to love. So I'm just the instrument. I'm just the channel through which that love is flowing. God's love is flowing. It is He who has planned. And so I do my best because I'm just the instrument. There is nothing else I can do. I'm just doing what I do. But the result, I know that this result, again, I am neither the karta nor the bhokta. So there's no question of enjoying. So after doing, if I'm the instrument, what I say, that it is you who know the Lord. Lord, you know the results. We are all born with particular sanskaras. However we may try, we cannot change that. When we imagine that my son will be such and such, what I'm doing, you're trying to pour water in a mango tree and expecting that you will get apples out of it. How is it possible? The sanskaras, it is totally its own sanskar. I can water the plant. I can make an apple tree a better apple tree, a mango tree a better mango tree. But I cannot make an apple a mango. And there we find that we suffer because we have our fixed idea of the result. And then we suffer. The suffering comes because the result is going to fructify as per the sanskaras which it has. It cannot just simply overrule that, in no way. So thou you will find that this slokas we memorize, we go on speaking, we go on saying, but it has such a deep it is all deep rooted in the psychological, the way the psychology, the psyche of our psyche, the way our psyche is made. It is deeply ingrained in that. Once we understand that, our perspective opens up. Our view gets, our perspective gets broadened. And then you can build your life on that broadened perspective. The scripture is there to broaden your perspective. But to build your life on that broadened perspective are my own endeavor. There comes the sadhana. So scripture is opening up the perspective for you, just making you see the truth face to face. But that's not sufficient. There's the difference between science and spirituality. Science opens up the perspective. But after that, what will it say? It's all chemistry. So enjoy. That there is the same thing, that the mother's love, you're bound to love, and all the, the feelings which you have, you're bound to have. So there comes what? That will lead you to the spirally downward motion. When you totally get involved in it, thinking yourself to be just a psychological wreck, that is going to result in exhaustion and totally destruction. The spirituality is the speaking of the same truth, but giving you a total different orientation. The detachment it is speaking of. And that can take you spirally upwards to that eternal satisfaction. You find the purpose of life is fulfilled only by orienting your life to the spiritual dimension of our existence. And that's what the Lord is speaking through this sloka. Karmanye eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetu bhu ma te sangostva karmati. So don't get attached to the results, and at the same time, don't desist from work. Don't get attached to the non-action. Let the action go on with the idea. It's the Lord who is working through me. He is the doer, and I am not the enjoyer. The results which will accrue for that, it is not I who am going to enjoy. As we were speaking, that if not a single fruit we do enjoy, it is taken away, just given for the time being and immediately taken away. So don't be in delusion to chase after it. So that's the way you should go on with your roles and responsibilities in life. So now, the few more slokas from 48 to 50, Bhagavan will be speaking two words, Kripanata and Kushalata. Kripana. Kripana means miserly. In the 49th sloka, the word miserly will come. The 48th sloka will again instruct. After that, he will say that those who doesn't follow the instruction to develop the detachment in their action, they are all Kripana. And there is a way to come out of that Kripanata. The way to come out of that Kripanata is Kushalata, the skill, the dexterity. So that we will come gradually. This 48, 49, 50 speaks how we can be Kushala, skilled enough to come out of the Kripanata, to get established in our majestic self. So let us read this sloka and then we will try to understand its meaning. Yogastha kuru karmani. 48 sloka. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Siddhya asiddhya samo bhutva. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Siddhi asiddhi samo bhutva. Success and failure, take it as same. If you can do that, then the samatva, equanimity that you develop, that is yoga. Yogastha kuru karmani. First he says that being established in yoga, do all your actions. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. And what it entails, you have to be detached. Then what results? In the first line, yoga is spoken as the process. The process is detachment. The second line speaks of yoga as the goal. What is the result? When you can develop detachment, that is samatvam, equanimity. Nothing, there's all the polarities falls off. The duality vanishes. You can develop a tranquil mind, which is always equanimous. Nothing can disturb it. The happenings of life goes on. Our entire spirituality is yet to start, because we will find in the name of spirituality what we do. We have made God the means, world the end. I want all the worldly pleasures. I pray to God, he's just the means. He will help me to get world. I don't want God. So that is sheer material. The so-called spirituality is sheer materialism. So here, that's why Bhagavan, what he's saying is very interesting. He's not saying that he is there always to give you siddhi. Siddhi and asiddhi are the facts of life. They both will be there. It's not that just by praying you go beyond that, you can avoid asiddhi and always get siddhi. You can avoid failure and get success. They will be there. You have to transcend them. So Bhagavan himself is saying, Sasiddhi, asiddhi, samo bhutva. We go to God only for success, but God very directly, bluntly is saying that these two polarities will be there. You can never avoid. In life, it can never be all good. Success and failure are the facts of life. They both will be there. Sometimes I will be in prosperity. Sometimes I will be in dejection. As the life flows, I have to be in this polarity. What I can do, I can transcend them by not being attached to either siddhi or asiddhi. To be always in the tranquility. How that is developed? Through detachment. So how again the detachment can come? Again, that I, after all, just an instrument in the hand of the divine. So even when I'm doing action, sometimes we feel that Shankaracharya's commentary is wonderful. He says that sometimes we feel that, okay, I'm doing disinterested action, means detached action. I have no, what you say, this hankering for the result. I have no hankering for the result. But even you will find, if you just really try to search your mind, do you really have no hankering for the result? There is still some hankering lurking. What's that? If I do actions without hankering for the result, God will be pleased with me. So Shankaracharya says a very interesting thing. Ishwaropi me tushyatu iti sangang tyaktva. That even God will be pleased with me. Even that attachment he has to leave. Just see what wonderful. This, to understand spiritual life is really something. It's a big, even to understand itself is a big adventure. You know, our hankering from worldly things goes on to Ishvara. That this example, even in the last class in the Mundaka Upanishad, most probably we were giving, that if this samsara is a tree, in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavan will be speaking this urdhva mula avak shaka of a tree, where samsara is the branches and its roots are the spiritual, its origin. As it's the spiritual, it is in the top. The roots are in the top, the branches are spread downwards. Now let us forget about the direction. In any tree, if you have climbed a tree and you are sitting on a branch, holding onto the branch, now you decide, let me fall. Is any effort required to fall? No effort. You just have to let loose, leave the hold. You're clinging to the branch, you leave the hold, automatically fall. The gravitation will pull you down, isn't it? To fall, there is no effort required. Similarly, to be one with your spiritual nature, no effort is required. The moment we leave the hold, the cling, we're clinging to this samsara. The moment you leave, the divine plan is such, the grace will pull you up. It will make you identified with the Lord. But in our spiritual life, it starts with this. We think we are fed up with this life. Oh Lord, I let loose of the hold of samsara. But immediately what I'm doing, that the branch which I was holding, most probably there are a lot of ants. It has started biting me. So I am in search of another branch. I let loose of this branch and get hold of another branch and name it God. It is God. But you're still holding onto the branch. You're still on the plant. You're not allowing yourself to fall just in the gravitation. Or you're not, if it is in the spiritual sense, you're not allowing the grace to take you to that identity. You are still created another clinging and nomenclatured it as God. So now you will understand what yoga means. To be in the instrument in the hand of divine means just Swami Ramakrishnananda used to say that what the instrument means. Suppose an author has written many books with a pen. Does the pen ever feel that it is he who has written? The one who is holding the pen, it is he who has written. Does the pen has any sense that that the author will be pleased with me, the one who is writing? No. If he has that sense, he will be dejected because he will be changing the pens. When he have to highlight something, he's using some other marker. He will feel, oh, after writing so much books, again, he's taking someone else. For marking, for painting, he will be using different pens. What it speaks of. I am just the instrument. Lord uses these various instruments as per the particular modules with which we are born. A marker have a particular module. The pen has a particular module. The brush with which I am painting has a different module. He is using them. There is no question of having a separate liking for him. So it is he, as per our swadharma, he is motivating us to do the actions. I am just the instrument. In no way I have to think of even pleasing him. I am bound to be his instrument. And there it is over. And the results I surrendered to him. After it is he who knows best why he is making me do all these things, why he has made me the instrument. So it is he who is working through me. He knows best. So it's very difficult in life. Spirituality is not easy. Many after saying this will go for a slipshod remedy. Well, so now it's better to have some pranayama, yoga, feel some relaxation. That's over. Why go through all this nonsense? There is no slipshod remedy for spirituality. Know it for certain. All those, that what you said, 2-minute meditation, 3-minute meditation, are like patchworks. It cannot give us permanent solution unless we change our orientation. It's impossible. We have to go through this, this tiring process. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that tablar bol mukhe bola shohoj, hate ana kothin. When you are learning tabla, the teacher says the rhythm. They will first ask you to recite. Say ta dhinna dha dhinna ta terekete dha terekete. It doesn't take even 2 minutes. You memorize, you say. Now he will say play. So it may take months. So spirituality is also like that. That when we understand, to really internalize it will take time. It's a challenge. That's why in Upanishad, Kathopanishad, it has been mentioned, Kshurasya dhara. It's a path like what is the sharpness of a razor. You have to balance yourself. Chances of falling are always there. So it's that difficult. But still we have to move forward. Why? Because it is not impossible. It is difficult, but it is not impossible. Just like climbing the top of the Everest is difficult, but it is not impossible. It's possible. So when we say that is impossible, then all the hope is gone. But when we say it is difficult, then we take up the challenge. That those who are climbing the Himalaya, if he is only thinking of the peak, he is bound to be a failure. He has to enjoy the entire process of climbing. That should give him a sense of adventure. Each and every step is an adventure for him. Since spiritual life is an adventure. The peak is waiting. But if we are constantly thinking of that, we are not giving sufficient, attention to each and every step. We will miss the goal. So assiduously, patiently, we have to move forward. That's why Swami Vivekananda used to say the entire spirit, the summary of spirituality can be spoken as 3P, nothing else. Purity, patience, perseverance. You have to have patience. And there will be repeated failures. We have to persevere. Go on trying. Purity speaks of this attempting to try to be in that equanimous state. This is the purity. It doesn't happen in a day. You need patience and perseverance. And that's the yoga which has been spoken of in the first line. That with your endeavor, you're trying to develop that detachment. Yogastha Kuru Karmani. And how that detachment has to be grown? By constantly being aware of the fact that you're the instrument in the hands of the divine. It is He's working through you, and the results. It's not, again, it is you who are there to enjoy the result. So that's why you surrender all the result to him after doing the thing perfectly. Just the way when I offer something to the divine, I make it sure the fruit is not rotten, the best fruit. Whatever I offer is the best thing. So if all my work is a worship, if it's after all going to be the worship to the divine, it should be perfect. I cannot give something rotten to the Lord, something nasty to the Lord. It has to be the perfect. I do it perfectly. So all my actions are performance oriented, but not result oriented. As in Hindi, the common thing is told that Jan sadhan tan siddhi. When you are doing anything, forget about the goal. To do that thing perfectly is the only goal. When you are cooking your dish, to cook a perfect dish is your goal. Forget God, because that's fix of the focus. You forget everything. You're totally concentrated on the preparing the food. Your full attention is there. You're preparing your mind. It has got detached from everything else. The real attachment is either with the past or with the future. In the present, you are never attached. You find that in each and every moment of your life, that what attachment speaks of, either you're thinking of the past, what you have enjoyed, or what you have to get rid of, your anger, your love, whatever it may be, either of past or you're anticipating. How I will in future act. If we are in the present, focus to the thing we are doing, automatically the detachment is bound to come. So whatever in the life you are doing, be in the present, be in the present. Try to cut off the past and the future. Do it perfectly. Jan sadhan tan siddhi. Just doing that thing perfectly is my only goal. And that will take care of, I'm not thinking of the result, not thinking what I've done previously. Just as an instrument of the divine you're doing. So this is the thing which you have to do with patience and perseverance. When I do that, then a time comes when I have transcended the so-called happenings of life. Siddhi, asiddhi. Siddhi, asiddhi are very relative. Even in our life, suppose when you are raising up a child, his sanskara is such, most probably he is not bound to be an intellectual giant, however you may try. So will I say that you are unsuccessful? No. It is just like a GP curing a common cold. Will I consider him a better doctor than a oncologist, oncologist who has taken up a very complicated case of cancer and the patient is somehow surviving, is not keeping well? Will I say that the oncologist is a failure and the GP is a success? His case is different. He is just curing a common cold, and his case is something very different. So as a parent also, we don't know with what sanskaras they came, what type of thing we are dealing with. And now if I say I am successful, you are not successful, that's totally that what you said, that misunderstood. So siddhi asiddhi cannot be judged just by the outcome. As per your, and God has the surgeon, the oncologist. Who is an oncologist? He has studied more than an ordinary GP. He has become specialist, and that's why his responsibility is also more. That's why in one of the poem of Swami Vivekananda, very nice line is there. Joto uchcho tomar hridoy, toto dukkho janibe nishchoy. The more you get evolved, the more is your suffering. God will give you more responsibility. Just the way no one will send a cancer patient to a GP. He will go to a specialist. So the more is your capability, the more is your responsibility. So, and more, that entails more suffering. You have to go through such a hardship. So siddhi asiddhi becomes something immaterial. Do the thing which you have to the best of your capacity. Forget about this siddhi asiddhi, that God is there to take care of. When you can do that with this type of attitude, know it for certain, in the long run, that samatva is bound to come. Samatvam yoga. Now this yoga, the second yoga is the achievement. The first yoga was the endeavor, and the second yoga speaks of the achievement, where you have achieved that equanimity. So from where that equanimity came? It was within you. It is yourself. But like a miserly person, you were never trying to realize what wealth you have. Who is a miser? The one who has wealth but never utilizes it. This equanimity of the soul is with all of us, but we never try to realize that. That's why we are the Kripana. So just with that hint, we will read the next sloka, and we will again go to the discussion in the next class, that why God is speaking, that the one who is seeking the results of action, they are all Kripana. Durena hyavarang karma, buddhi yogat dhananjaya, buddho sharanam anvicha, Kripana falahetava. This is what Kripana comes here. This is far inferior indeed. O Dhananjaya is the action performed with the evenness of mind. This buddhi yoga, buddhi yoga speaks of that evenness of mind. O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna. Than the karma which is done with seeking for the result. So always take refuge in evenness. Buddho sharanam anvicha. So take refuge on that evenness. And those who are running after the desires are Kripana, because they have lost the scope to realize the potentiality, the tremendous potentiality, the spiritual potentiality which is hidden in all of us, by which we can transcend all the dualities of life and enjoy peace, whatever may be happening in life. I don't want to change the course of life. It goes on. Suffering is how I react to it. That reaction has gone. So no more suffering. So spirituality is not an anesthesia which makes you forget about the suffering. It's a tremendous alertness with detachment. So that's the thing. You're highly conscious, but detached. So you're no more in the stream. You're out of the stream, observing it. Life goes on as it is. And that speaks of transcending. And that's what Karma Yoga speaks of. Again, with the last word, we will say, it's really very difficult, but it is achievable. And that's the only thing which can give us real happiness. Nanya pantha vidyate anaya. We have to go through this hard path. There is no other path available. Na nanya, na anya pantha. Vidyate ayanaya. Know it for certain. There is no other path. We all have that strength to traverse through this path, and we have to assert to that strength and go on persevering with patience till we reach the goal. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. That's what Swamiji says. So with this, we will stop our discussion today. Thank you all. Namaskar.